Kanse Honey Constant Tasagasan Paktahasagai Ganekochinia Miopisagao. Hello my friends, my name is Honey Constant. I'm from Sturgeon Lake First Nation and I'm one of the archaeologists here at Wanuskewin Heritage Park. Wanuskewin, if you're saying that word properly in Cree, means seeking peace of mind, peaceful gathering place. Wanuskewin was built in 1992, and it was named this because our original elders, the people that helped really build what Wanuskewin is today, came from the understanding of how people use this place for over 6,000 years. And when I say people, it's the people of the Northern Plains, the people that lived and hunted bison, gathered medicines on this land. We acknowledge that there are 7 Indigenous groups that call this place home. That is the Cree, the Dene, the Métis, the Saulteaux, Nakota, Dakota, and Blackfoot. So these are some of the languages that you'll see if you come out to visit us here at the park. Wanuskewin, Wanuskewin, was chosen because this land was used very peacefully, and it was a gathering place where you saw each other, you hunted together, you gathered medicines, but also you would come to trade. Some of the things that we find here at the park don't really make sense, but the elders, they say that this valley has a spirit, and it's like a magnet pulling people in. From the scientific perspective, we know that this place is something called an ecological island. Think of it as a little tiny beautiful space surrounded by water, but this time we're in the middle of land. And what that means is there's something spiritual at play here. And that is why we never seen any fighting or war. So the name Wanuskewin, Wanuskewin, seeking peace of mind, peaceful gathering place, was named this because we've seen that people have been using this space in harmony, living in harmony with one another. The history of this land varies a lot. So 6,000 years ago, we know people were using this land up until the signing of Treaty 6. But then in 1902, a family ended up living here, and they were the Witkowski family. So Mike Witkowski was a nice farmer, and he took care of the land. He moved cattle across the land. And how we came to know what Wanuskewin is and protect the valley is actually because of Mike Witkowski. He didn't have any family to pass the land on to, so what he did was he ended up befriending Dr. Ernie Walker, who's our founding archaeologist here. He was his ranch hand, so he was moving the cattle across the landscape after a while. Until one day he cut to the chase and said, I want to retire and I want to make sure the land goes to someone who's going to take care of it. So then Dr. Walker, as he was finishing his PhD, he came back to Saskatoon and he started getting community together. He knew that this history, the heritage that is in the earth and the spirit is relating more to Indigenous peoples. So he knew that he couldn't create Wanuskewin without the Indigenous community present. So he went to some elders. A couple of them were the late Lawrence Tobacco, Cy Standing from Wahpayton, and the one that really helped move us forward, and our valley is named after them, Opimihaw, which is the Cree word for the one who floats above the ground. Senator Hilliard McNabb was one of the key leaders of helping Wanuskewin become Wanuskewin. Before the Indigenous community said, yes, we're going to be part of this journey with you, before they really wanted to back what Wanuskewin could be, there was a whole journey that Dr. Walker had to go on. And it wasn't like a physical journey, but a spiritual one. So fast forward, he really got to know the members and the community and the culture. So finally, on one of the very last ceremonies, they had a sweat ceremony inside the valley. And this was way back before there was less trees. There wasn't even a building here at all. And after the last round of the sweat, They all came out and laid on the grass and was cooling off. And they were just sitting peacefully. And then finally, one of the elders, late Lawrence Tobacco, he turned to Dr. Walker and he said, "We don't understand what you mean by a heritage park, but we believe that it's always meant to happen." And what he was talking about was spiritually. Like I mentioned earlier, the spirit of the valley takes care of itself. And as a small little park, a small little group of people, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, coming together to build a dream of owning and taking care of this land, it was special because then they raised $4 million to build the park. And now flash forward 27 years later, as a nonprofit, we raised $40 billion. And now we have bison that have returned home. We're going towards UNESCO, which means that we would be unique to the rest of the world, that there's no other place like Wanuskewin and that we're special now and to the future. I hope in the future, if you ever come out to Wanuskewin, that you enjoy the spirit of the valley and reconnect to the land on your own. Thank you, my friends. We stas.